and welcome back. I'm getting to grips with the new Hornet 500. We're just going to pull into the garage here, get some fuel and take it for a spin, just see just what it's like. So stick with us, see how we get on. Put a couple of gallons in the tank. I'm probably going to have this bike for at least a month, maybe longer. I don't know how things will turn out. Anyway, stick with us, see how we get on with it. Well, it seems to be a really nice little bike. Size wise, it's probably not a lot different to the classic 350, and probably weight wise as well, come to that. Power wise is a totally different thing, of course. It's got over twice the brake horsepower, and it's just a completely different bike, of course. And you notice that obviously when you're shifting away, you give it a bit of acceleration. The throttle seems to me to be a bit jerky, but I think that's because I'm not used to the power coming in so quickly. Obviously on the classic it's slow, very smooth power delivery. This is there pretty much instant. I don't know, it's totally different sort of style of riding. It's not as relaxing, I don't think, which I'm afraid at my age is more what I'm into rather than squirting it on, shall we say. But it will shift. I'm not going to hammer the hell out of it because it is a brand new bike. It's not running yet, but it seems very willing. Engine wants to go. So yeah, it's to that extent it's quite enjoyable. The handling is good, and at the speeds I do, sort of anywhere between 50, 65, I can't really notice the handling being any better than the classic. Obviously get going a little faster than that, then I think things would be a lot different. One thing I did notice was the tyres are a bloody sight better. I'll put it down to the tyres. It doesn't tram line like the Indian tyres on the classic. You can get those sort of into a groove, and you really know it. I've put this on purpose into some of the grooves in the road just to see how it reacts and whether it would tram line. And quite honestly, you hardly notice anything at all. It's just so good. But having said that, the suspension seems rather harsh. It's not as comfortable, it's not as smooth. I think the suspension's rather on the hard side, which is probably for it to handle or be on a more sporty and side. I haven't thrown it round corners. I've lent it round a few bends, and it grips well, handles well, but it doesn't give you that it's got a sense of urgency to it, whereas I'm used to the classic where you just enjoy, if you like, the ride and the scenery, which you can do with this. I wasn't really breaking any speed limits or anything. I was keeping within reasonable speeds all the time. It's just a totally different ride. Nice bike, nice bike. The other thing that I mentioned as well was it's got an E-clutch, most peculiar. Doesn't feel as though you've got a clutch there at all until you go to use it. I know that sounds odd, but you can change gear up and down the box without using the clutch. One of the things I did find coming down into traffic or close quarters work, and I wasn't sure what gear to be in, particularly being a new bike, comparatively high revving compared to what I'm used to, twin cylinder, so I wasn't terribly sure what gear to be in. And I was in, you know, sometimes you're in a higher gear than you would like, and you sort of you feather the clutch, you slip the clutch to get just up that bit of speed so the engine doesn't sort of have to labour. And I found with this, I thought, I opened the throttle, I got my hand ready on the clutch, and as I open the throttle, it's already, the clutch is slipping. It's slipping the clutch, it's feathering the clutch automatically. Really quite odd. It's like an automatic. It is, yeah, somewhat different. So haven't had that much experience with it as yet, so I will reserve my feelings on that. Probably a very good thing if you're in town, out on the open road. I don't know, probably not necessary, but if you're using it in traffic and so forth. The other thing I found was, as I said, I mentioned that the suspension seemed to be a bit on the hard side. Having said that, the thing I noticed was my backside. I was actually feeling numbed. My cheeks of my backside were getting numbed. The seat is like sitting on a plank. I've really been spoilt with the touring seats on the Classic, and I hadn't been out that far, but it was enough to notice the difference that it had made to my backside, and I thought, I'm not particularly enjoying that. The other thing, of course, is that it being a more sporty bike, the pegs are set back a little bit more than what I like, so you're leaning forward a little bit more, feet back a little bit more, and as I say, the seat is like a plank. So yeah, I'm not going to swap, let's put it like that. It's a nice bike. If it's that sort of bike that you want, I'm sure it's a lovely bike. So yeah, there's not a lot more I can say about it, really. I enjoyed the ride, really nice. Going any distances on it, I'm not sure. I would have to make one or two changes, I think. I don't think you can alter the I wouldn't be able to alter the foot pegs where they are, so my legs would be bent back more than I like. As I say, the seat being on the hard side, the suspension's a bit on the hard side as well, so you might get where you're going quicker, but in comfort, or as much comfort, I don't know. I'll leave that open. Okay, so that's my thoughts on the Hornet 500. We'll be using this bike now for quite a while, I expect, until things get sorted. Okay, well, you'll probably catch me again on this, and we'll see how we get on. So cheers for now.